Hey guys, welcome aboard. Kenny B here from Cities and Suburbs, August 18th. How's your wallet doing? Average gas prices here in Massachusetts right now are about $3.75 a gallon, give or take 15-20 cents. I was in Connecticut / on the Rhode Island border today. I did see it at $3.55 a gallon. That's $3.49 9/10. Remember, taxes included. Is that too much? Is that too much? I mean, do you think as a country we pay too much for gasoline? We don't put any money really into public transportation. I've said this before, and I just wanted to bring up a couple of things about Worcester tonight. And but before that, in terms of relation to the parking in Worcester, Worcester is going to have its municipal elections. The preliminary election will be September 5th, so you should be registered to vote right now. A lot of the city council incumbents, pardon me, and the mayor's chair is also being challenged by several candidates, and so the preliminary elections will be on September 5th, and the municipal citywide election will be on November 7th. Now, keep in mind, there are a lot of choices out there. Worcester is now at a 206,000 person population. Population's going up. The income disparity is going up for sure. A younger age is moving into the urban areas. How many of those individuals will come out and vote? Worcester sadly has generally had maybe a 4% turnout in the citywide elections, which we can't afford to do that. And it's not because the candidates and the incumbents right now are not good. They are good. They're folks that are running, and people who are currently serving that believe in this city and have their issues that they're dug in on within their districts, whether you're a large councilor or a district councilor. So preliminary election is September 5th, municipal election November 7th, and believe me guys, it's August 18th right now, but it'll be September 18th, it'll be October 18th, it'll be bang, before you know it, you're putting up your Christmas tree, and that's just the way it is, so don't throw anything at me here. But I did want to say, in relation to Worcester, which is, again, growing, but there was a report put out by the nonprofit group Parking Reform Network that said that 35% of Worcester's urban core, its municipal district, 35% of Worcester's land, an area roughly from Lincoln Street down to Madison Street, is devoted to parking, okay? And the figure does not include the parking spots that line the city streets. So 35% of intentional parking is in Worcester's habitable zone, the ground zero, where everything is supposed to be happening that isn't. 35%, by 2/3, of downtown Worcester is devoted to parking, automobile storage, okay? Let me just see, like many cities, Worcester's zoning regulations now require new buildings to include parking. For example, multifamily buildings must provide 2 units of parking per unit. Wow. Provide 2 units of parking per unit. And office buildings must provide one space for every 1,300 square feet of gross floor space. Now, developers know how to get around this, you know. But, you know, that is what the report says is that devoting large pieces of land is counterproductive for cities, particularly in Worcester. Worcester has a parking problem worse than Kansas City, Missouri, and cities of you know, comparison throughout New England. But devoting large pieces of parcels, you know, could be used for things that attract people downtown. So they're saying the parking really makes, particularly in this case, Worcester, not very walkable. It's not very walkable. And I'm not gonna blame Worcester for that. Most old New England cities aren't, unless they're like intentionally redeveloped, you know? But it doesn't attract people downtown, and parking also encourages the use of cars, you know, at the expense of climate, and opposed to public transportation, walking, biking, and other modes. Now, this being said, I'll post this link below, but I mean, you know, it's kind of on track saying that, you know, here's Worcester's regional transit authority trying to get people to use the bus, you know. So now we have this influx of new people living in Worcester, because we all know that you know, the new apartments that are all being built, you know, for the two-car garage thing, that you know, we should encourage that younger, because they're a younger demographic moving in, to use public transportation, but, you know, and leave the cars at home. And I've said too, you know, and there's a lot of parking in downtown Worcester, a lot of parking. I mean, look at Pearl Street. It used to be a beautiful branch of the library there. It's been gone for many decades now, but it's a parking garage. So the report has its merits. What I would say is that regardless of that, you know, Worcester downtown still has a little ways to go in terms of really worrying about parking in terms of at night. That's Main Street. Now, you go to the Canal District, they're struggling, because when when the Pole Park was built, they knew that 80%, that's in the report too, 80% of the people going to the ballpark at Polo Park, 80% of them will be driving, and they're parking in front of other restaurants and taking up parking on the streets, because they really don't want to park in the garage, even though there was a garage built across from the stadium, you know? So where is the solution? And I think it's just a long-term thing. It's not unique to Worcester. Where are we going to put all the vehicles, right? So I say, well, should we keep going up on gas prices and encourage people to use public transportation? And how do we actually make public transportation something where I live 20 miles from Worcester that I can get into reliably? You can't. People rely on their vehicles, and they need a place to park them during the day. Anyway, so some salvation, guys. The Denholm Building, according to Mr. Murray, Executive Director of the Worcester Area Chamber of Commerce, is not going to be demolished. Pretty much on the National Historic Book of Records at this point. I mean, it was the old Denholm, okay, goes back to the 1860s, 70s, somewhere around there. And and the McKinney Group is downtown now. They're you know, a real estate development group, and they've already put about $60 million into downtown Worcester. The Denholm Building, though, will not be demolished. It will be turned into housing, right? Housing. So are people going to take the bus? Are they going to drive? And where's the garage for all those units? And of course, there's the complementary retail component on the storefront, you know, on the ground level. You could have done that decades ago, man. You didn't need to, you know, redevelop it. There's just no retail downtown at all. So, yeah, there's a lot of parking, a lot of parking and cars that are downtown 9 to 5, but not seeing it too much of a problem the further away from the Hanover Theater you get. But it is an interesting survey. 35%. That's a lot of land. And it is true, you know, I mean, Worcester is not very walkable at all. And I guarantee you guys, it never will be. But nonetheless, just a quick report here from Kenny B, Cities and Suburbs. Check it out. I'll share some links below, and make sure you get out and vote Worcester. Let's go. Take care.